I got this puzzle of Martin Mull having sex, and now I'm not mad about this breakup I just went through.
The piece I'm missing happens to be his Martin Mole. Welcome back, everyone, to S1E1, the show where each week we pick a different sitcom, watch just the first televised episode, and forgetting anything we might know about the future run of that show, rate it and decide if it's a show we want to greenlight or cancel. This week we're going to be talking about Not Dead Yet. Not Dead Yet went 23 episodes over 2 seasons on ABC. Today we're talking about episode 1, which was called Pilot, originally airing February 8th, 2023. Going to get things started, I'm Jay Gags. With me as always, the boys, most of them, Joe, Ferg, and Nick No Gordo this week. What's going on, guys?
Heyo.
Hey.
Don't bother me, I'm already dead.
Well, everyone, week 3 of our unofficially named Spooky Dookie Month, Volume 5.
Why is it unofficial? It's officially Spooky Dookie.
Yeah, I think by 5 years.
It has to stay unofficial at this point because we've always called it unofficial.
It's officially unofficial.
I mean, we don't have trademarks for it either way, so I guess technically it's unofficial, but...
Oh, if somebody wants to, if an opposing podcast wants to steal it, I'm sure we'll see them in court.
Don't you steal our Spooky Dookie.
I don't know if any of you would find us for the first time with this episode, but just in case you were looking for some Not Dead Yet content, this is every October we try to do all Halloween, spooky, paranormal type shows for the month of October. So here we are, year 5, Not Dead Yet. Thankfully, shows keep popping up slowly, so we're stretching this out as much as we can.
We're not dead yet either, boys.
Oh, but boy, are we getting closer year by year.
I'm going to live forever.
To your point, Jay, though, I think the show was a little bigger than we thought it was and has a fan base.
It does, although...
And is new, right? And very modern.
Yeah, 2 seasons, like I said, got canceled. I guess the viewership wasn't where they wanted it. Good cast. I mean, we're going to talk about it as we get into it.
Can just real quick, this doesn't really affect how I feel about the show. This has been done ad nauseum, though, hasn't it? This plot, I can talk to the dead. Like, I feel like this is in a bunch of other, not just sitcoms, but like other shows.
What happens is you just got to find your angle and a way to spin it in a way that's a little different. So, and I think they did that here. I mean, look at how many shows have we covered now that the standard sitcom, family, doofy dad, they live in middle America, right. Hilarity ensues. So, I mean, like...
Wacky neighbor.
You just got to find your thing.
Yeah, but that's kind of general, though, right? That's a pretty general, like, somebody speaking to the dead is a very specific thing that has been done a lot. My point is because you were saying how it got canceled after 2 seasons. Yes, you can do it. You can do it well, but it's got to be really good because the interest can drop off pretty quickly, I think, because it's been done so many times, is what I'm saying.
You just start having fun new ghosts.
I watched this with my wife, who watched all of it previously, what was on, and I said, question, is every guest star every week as good as Martin Mull? Because the only way to make this show good every week is to have a great guest star as a ghost. If you fuck up once or twice, it's over. People are going to lose interest.
That's a tough thing, right? So and this happens with a lot of shows that are formatted where something like this not necessarily a dead person, but like any show that involves a different client every week or a different case, where someone new's coming in. If it's focused on having a different guest star every week, you're putting someone into your show every single week who's going to have a majority of the screen time. So, like, yes, when you have a show like that, you have to be very careful about who you're pulling in because inherently, like, it's not like any other sitcom where you come in and you have a few lines here and there. Like, whoever in this case, Martin Mull, we'll talk about him later, ends up being a large portion of the episode. So yeah, that it's very different when you have and like I said, not just ghost shows, but a lot of types of shows that have similar formatting.
And Martin Mull does knock this out of the park. And was anybody else a little sad when they finished this? Because I was like, fuck, this has to be like one of the last things he did because he died right after this. It's the second to last credit. Yeah. So like, it was heartbreaking loving Martin Mull my entire life and being like, oh God, but what a great way to go out.
I feel like he's been in a few, like, not necessarily pilot. I feel like he's been in another pilot. I just can't think of
Oh, yeah,
what
we
it
covered
is.
him recently. He was in Dad's. I think we've seen him a few different times because he's in that show with, he was in the show too with Valerie, Mama's Family. Can't think of it. He's been in a bunch of shows recently.
Oh, what's it called? I know which one you're calling. Is that with Lovers in it too, right?
Yeah. Where they're at the old folks'
They
home.
live in like a living facility. Yeah, I have it like saved for future use.
Like a guy who just like never stopped working. He would just pop up forever. So because of that, he'd be in a sitcom all the time.
That's Gene Parmesan.
That is Gene Parmesan. No!
Gene!
So just for checks and balances here, is this a show you guys were aware of, had watched? Where do you guys stand with this one?
No.
I knew of it, but I had the plot wrong. I thought she was a ghost.
Yeah, so I had seen an episode, which I thought was the first episode. And then as I'm doing my first, after watching this and realizing this is not the episode I saw, realized what I saw was the first episode to season 2 when it was like originally airing that. So,
Brad Garrett in the second season?
Yeah, I'm like, where's Brad Garrett? He's not in this. So, kind of a bummer. I would have liked to see him.
Oh, Brad Garrett's in the show and not yet, though?
Yeah, he plays Lexi's dad.
This whole show has like the who's who of like TV.
When this came out, though, I remember there being articles about that Lexi, the actor's name, I forget, but who played Dina in Superstore. There's like, there were all those like, she looks so different now. Things were popping up.
Lauren Ash, she looks even more different now. She's lost a lot of weight.
And it's funny, too, because I thought, before I even saw that she was in the show, I thought the main character was America Carrera at first, who's also in Superstore.
They have a similar look, yeah.
No, but the girl they do have is from Jane the Virgin, which is another popular show.
Which we can't cover because that pilot episode was 40 minutes long. So don't ask.
And we will never cover a 40-minute pilot. It'll blow my fucking brains out. But I will say, when I was asking about the show to my wife, I was like, it's the one with the girl from Superstore, right? And she didn't connect the two that were Dina, and she thought that I was being a racist and thinking the main character was America Ferrara too. And then I put it on and I was like, yeah, that's Dina, right? And she's like, oh, okay, you're fine. I was like, thank you for thinking I was like the worst person.
Hey, but this show does have Cece from New Girl in it. I know how much you like that show.
Speaking of blowing my fucking brains out.
I thought this was kind of interesting because usually we see somewhat of a correlation here. IMDb 7.0 and Rotten Tomatoes 50% critic, but then 69% audience. So I do feel a lot of times I've noticed the audience score and then the IMDb score, for obvious reasons, should be kind of close. They are here. But the critics not fans of this one. Well, 50 is like not absolute trash, but you know.
Is that for the show in general though, or the episode?
Show in general. I try to do like general show and not episode specific.
That'll change if we can become critics. People just gotta give us ratings.
I think in my mind, it's more to kind of go with the idea of like we could cancel a good show and vice versa. So I like to kind of give you the overall scope of where the show is seen. Also, if you want to watch Not Dead Yet, go to Hulu. That's where you can still watch it now. Both seasons are available there.
You can also watch on Disney Plus.
It's all the same. They're all linked. So it's all going to be the same thing soon anyway.
Yeah, in like 6 months, you'd be like, you want to watch this? You can watch this on ESPN, which is so fucking funny to me. Like Pete Sampras and Not Dead Yet coming up next on ESPN.
And if you're interested in us, go to S1E1pod.com. That's where you can find all the links to our social medias if you want to buy a t-shirt, anything like that. Right now, Ferg's wearing one of our Spooky Dookie Month Halloween-themed shirts, the variation on the classic shirt. I am wearing one that is not time-appropriate, more for our more patriotic holidays, but it was nearby when I had to throw a shirt on.
It's always appropriate to love America, Jay.
I think that's the one that I bought on a hoodie, and then when the hoodie came, the logo was so small that it looked like the little thing in the middle of the putties on Power Rangers, and I was like, I can never wear this sweatshirt. It looks so weird.
I didn't know you hated putties.
I'm just saying, look, buy a crew neck sweatshirt. Don't buy a pullover sweatshirt with a pocket on the bottom, because sometimes those companies don't know how to size things right at that point.
But sometimes they do.
Give it a shot. Buy stuff.
It's the same amount of money. I'm just telling you, if you would like a sweatshirt version of one of our shirts, buy a crew neck sweatshirt.
And Joe did say that the tote bag came in great.
You know, it's funny. Just to be a jerk, I probably should have got a tote bag, but I don't have one, so.
Yeah, that's fine. I got a picture of Joe standing there with his tote bag somewhere when we were out recently. Maybe we'll post.
Last thing I want to mention before we get into the actual show itself, this was based on a book called Confessions of a 40-something Fuck-Up by Alexandra Potter. I don't believe that book has anything to do with anything supernatural, right? It's just the main character is based on her, and they just kind of built on that.
Yeah, it's like I think the thing is that like she goes to London, like chasing a guy, and then like things fall apart, sort of thing. She's got like 15 books, but I think that's the gist of that. And
so they just kind of take like, the general character and build off.
Yeah, the bones of this, and then add like a supernatural element.
Who reads this book and goes, "We gotta add some ghosts"?
Yeah. That's when the network gets involved, yeah.
Again, though, to be fair, though, I would always agree with you because that's like the funniest thing in the world. But like this did last 2 seasons, so that person was like not wrong, weirdly, which is kind of funny.
People love the supernatural. Give us more shows so we can keep this going.
I know. Well, we probably get 1 or 2 a year. And luckily, it feels like the UK pumps out 1 a year too, right? So like as long as we...
I think I could comfortably say we got at least 2 more years in us with the Spooky Dookie at this point.
Which is crazy because I feel like after the second year, we were like, I don't know.
We started really scraping at that point.
To get into this actual episode, starts with narration. Like the first thing we see is a newspaper getting like thrown in front of the house, and it cuts to the main character who's the narrator. That's Nell. And basically what we're hearing from her is after 15 years as a journalist, she learned it's important to grab the reader's attention with a catchy headline. Here's mine, local woman's 37 ruins own life. And then she starts basically telling us her story. She met a guy. She moved out to London to be with him. It didn't work out. Now she's like back here. And all the stuff that she thought she had, like, the fairy tale wedding and stuff went belly up.
Did anybody else feel like it's kind of nice that like we don't get this all the time, but like it's a sitcom, but people in their late 30s as regular, real people, not just like weird automatons or failed, miserable uncles or whatever. Like it's nice to see shows because it's not always what you get. Like it's usually about younger people. It's like this is a show about a bunch of people working who are like in our age range.
I think they did a good job with some of the characters of giving them a little bit of depth. Like some of them are a little more extreme than others, but there's layers to all the people that we see here, which is one big plus I would say to the show. And we'll meet all these characters kind of as we get into it. We're seeing her like in bed as she's narrating and having a hard time getting up. The dog's like licking her. Eventually she gets up and she kicks a can of like hard seltzer over as she's walking along and trying to get ready. And you could just we're getting a vibe for like she's not put together, like you said.
Hard seltzer is not a good. If you're like they mentioned many times in the episode, she's like a
tread lightly.
Follow me here, because I'm going to rip myself more than the hard seltzer people here. If you were such a drunk that you were going to have the can next to you that you might take a sip out of in the morning when you're trying to fight the hangover bug, I don't think a flat hard seltzer is going to be a good sip. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's one of your better sips, I would say, compared to some of the other alcoholic options.
I don't know. I don't want to say anything that makes me sound like the worst person ever, but I always found that High Life, because it's a little sweet, was like the good like beer you left on the side of the table if you needed a sip of beer in the morning.
Well, you know what else is sweet?
Yeah,
hard seltzer.
But it's too sweet. That's sickly sweet.
The problem with all of this is not the fact that it's warm, it's the fact that it's flat, which is what ruins anything like that, I think, more than the temperature.
Yeah, but beer would be flat too.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, but for example, like there's a lot of nights where I'm always, as we're recording, I'm drinking non-alcoholic seltzer. I'm just drinking a Polar. But sometimes I'll leave like a can, next to bed when I go to bed, because I'll wake up and like I have some dry mouth and the seltzer goes a little flat if I leave half a can, but like it's not as good stale at all. Like once it loses the carbonation, but like I could take a few sips and not be repulsed by it.
I think it depends on the flavor. Something with like watermelon in it is going to make you want to throw up if you're hungover.
Oh, it's just going to taste like a delicious Fruit 2.0. Remember those?
No. Oh, yes, I do actually. Yeah.
So she's also going on and talking about like her new situation and how she lives with like a roommate she met on Craigslist who's weird. And as she's talking about that, she's walking by, you see a sign on the thermostat that says keep it 68 degrees. And then she opens the fridge and there's a sign that says hope this was worth the plastic. And it's a yogurt that's like half eaten with a spoon. And I was thinking though, like,
How you'd beat this guy up if you lived with him?
Well, yeah, if you're an environmental guy, I could see being upset about the plastic, but more importantly, who eats half a yogurt and leaves it just cracked open with a spoon in it for later?
That's a good point. I didn't really think of.
That is not a come back to food, yeah.
You can't leave not in the fridge. It's going to get all weird. Like yogurt, it's not like a resealable lid. It's just open yogurt.
It's not an open air food for very long.
No, when you decide you're done with that yogurt is also done with you. You have to just throw it away. There's no coming back to that an hour later or 2 days later.
Yeah.
Does that make the cultures different even? Like, yogurt's like a living organism. You can't, let that hang out for a while.
It's gonna have skin.
Ugh.
When she was wrapping up her, narration, too, she's saying how it's her first day back at her old job, and even though she was running late, she at least got the last parking spot, so things are looking up. And then you see her in the garage. I can relate to this because my garage has really tight spots, and she's wedged in between a giant SUV and a giant pickup truck and can't open either door. And this is super relatable for my garage, at least, because my spots were also way too narrow, and she eventually has to come out of the trunk to get out.
I think the way they should have written this, though, is that those trucks should have also been in compact spots. The joke was that the compact spot is between the two trucks, and that's funny. But if you actually go through, we had a Honda Fit for so long, you'd be going through a parking garage, and there'd be 3 compact spots in it, and there'd be 2 Ford Explorers or whatever, some giant thing, like an Escalade, and you couldn't actually get your compact car in because dickheads parked in compact spots.
Remind me of Michael Scott Paper Company.
Yes.
His first day when they move, he does that, and he has to climb out the back of his PT Cruiser.
Have you guys been in that similar situation where, I've definitely had to crawl across my car and come out of the passenger side a bunch of times? I haven't done the trunk.
Maybe once, yeah.
I've had to suck in the gut. That's about it. I've never climbed over.
Oh, I've had to. Like I said, where I park, it can run very narrow, and yeah, I've been in situations where I get back after work and the car is so close that I have no choice and have to go through the passenger side and climb over the console, or to get out is the only option. But I've done it.
I feel like it's happened to me more often as a passenger because you don't think about that sort of stuff when you're driving, right? And then you park in between a giant car and the cart return at the Target, and you can open your door and you're like, well, let's see how we can make this happen, I guess. Yeah, like Ferguson, you're suck in the gut and just try to sideways sneak through.
We get the title screen after all this, and it's just a black screen, and we see in typewriter print all across the screen different phrases, and it's all not grown up yet, not married yet, not happy yet, et cetera, et cetera. Eventually those all fade off, and then we get the title of the show, Not Dead Yet. Again, we've talked about this before, more modern style, not getting the full intro. It works for this kind of show. Quick little jingly thing with this, I think, is more than fine.
Yeah, this would have been way worse to be an 80s sitcom song, and you're at the newspaper, and there's ghosts everywhere. This show would not work for that at all.
If there's anything doing this podcast has confused me about, it's the fact that I love a good theme on a sitcom and also am not upset when there's just not a theme at all. You know what I mean? It's strange because the best themes are so good, but when a show starts and it's just ba-dum-bum, let's go, I'm yeah, let's do it. Because I don't need the intro. Just get into the show.
I like these ones better, though, than there is the one we've seen a lot of times, too, where, you would see the words Not Dead Yet come out, and the character, the main character, walk out and go, against the N. It's the most fucking aggravating thing in the world.
Yeah.
For those of you listening, Joe did the look to camera, arms crossed. Yeah.
You look to camera, arms crossed, lean.
I feel like a show like this does need an intro song, something that explains the plot. You can't just throw this show on at any time and know what's going on. Why does she see ghosts? Why this? Why that?
I would agree if it reached syndication, but for the first episode especially, that would kind of ruin the gimmick, right?
That's why you wouldn't do it in the first episode.
I guess for anything past the pilot and syndication, I would be okay with it, yeah.
I don't know. It's I just feel like shows like this, it'd be really tough to write a theme that's not super corny. She sees ghosts and she's writing their obituaries and she's got some friends.
If you could pay for the rights to a song that was somewhat in the same vein as the show, I'm sure there's something out there, maybe that. But yeah, to come up with one, I don't think would work.
But I feel like the fun thing about this too, we'll never know, is that the ABC probably commissioned 10 songs that we'll never hear that are probably all fucking terrible gold, and I would love to fucking hear. Yeah.
There's all this in a vault somewhere. plots for all these shows, like songs that just never got used.
The aliens will find when the world is over.
So the next scene, we see Nell. She gets out of the elevator. It's her first day again at work, but this is her old job that she's returning to after living in London. We never got like a time frame for how long she was gone for. Basically, we're gonna learn soon that like kind of life has changed a little bit since she's been gone. So it's not like she was gone for a month or two. She's first greeted by her friend Sam. Ferg, you mentioned before that Tana Simone, she was CC in New Girl. So she had a lot. She was on like what? Just about every episode of that show, right? She was in it forever.
Yeah, she was a big character.
You know who she looks like a lot in this to me? Ileana Douglas, who's in like Goodfellas and Cape Fear. She dated Martin Scorsese for a million years. She's like an actor you'd see and be like, I know that person. If you like look at that actress up, you'd be like, oh, it looks like this could be like her daughter.
She runs up and greets Nell. Again, I don't know if it's her name's Sam, and they're having like a little catch-up conversation. And she's saying like, hey, you're late, but, I gave everyone excuses for you. And I told them that, like, you donated blood and you're still on UK time. Gives her a plant for her first day. They're talking as they're doing like a walk and talk. And like it's at a newspaper. As they walk by the sports section, there's like a little moment where like sports section and they duck and the two guys throw out like a football across the office or something like that.
Corny.
Until they get to Dennis. And Dennis he looks like he was like maybe the third in their little crew, and now he's been promoted to like a boss. He's still their friend, but now since she's left, he's been promoted and now will be her boss.
The fun thing for any sort of news organization is there's going to be so many departments where there's like equal positions of like people in charge, but they're for different parts that don't touch each other, right? So like you're the editor of this, like so you're a big deal, but you can't tell people in the other section what to do, which I think makes this always a good, like a newsroom is a really good sitcom place to be, right? Because you've got a lot of people who can be people of power, but they can't actually put any power on the other characters. There's a long way around of saying a bunch of middle managers who don't be in charge of anybody is interesting.
Yeah, he's the boss of his short sector. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're all catching up for a minute, and there's a little bit of like, you can tell they're all friends, by the way, that they're throwing like light digs at one another. Dennis hits Sam with like, aren't you late right now? Don't you have some meeting for sandals that you should be at? And she's like, I actually do have a meeting I'm late for about sandals, and like takes off. And then you have Dennis and Nell talking, and this is when Nell finds out that, oh, what's my new gig? What do you have me on? City beat, crime beat? Nope, deadbeat. Like, I'm on obituaries?
Also, that's the name for this show. The show should have been called The Deadbeat.
We already did Deadbeat.
We covered one called Deadbeat.
I know, but still, Deadbeat is a way better name.
Yeah, but it was used.
That doesn't matter.
It was used with the same premise. It's going to confuse people.
Yeah.
Look, how many movies are named the same thing? How many bands are named the same thing?
Yeah, and it's confusing.
You're going to wait like 15 to 20 years. You can't just use it immediately.
But The Deadbeat is what the show should have been called. That makes way more sense. It's like an inside joke on newspapers. It's about dead people. Not dead yet. I think it's too vague. I don't think it's a good... I think they should have used something else if not that.
That's why I thought she was a ghost.
My guess is her thing, the not dead yet, I think is first off playing off of the fact that like the original book is more about like self-improvement. And then that mixed in with the fact that she writes obituaries and it's all a tie-in and like her self-growth and all of that is encompassed in that name.
Yeah, Joe.
Yes.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying it's a better fucking title for the show.
They get to her new office and it's a closet, like a tiny closet too. And like one that smells like the exposed pipes.
This made me insane.
Nick, did you specifically bring up the Michael Scott Paper Company earlier, right?
Yeah, because that was his first day when he got stuck in the parking lot spot.
Yeah, and now her office is much like when they got their office space, only much smaller. And it's just a tiny little closet with exposed pipes.
This is another one I didn't even think about at the time. This is another cliche, like tiny office with the pipe in it. It's this show's already not trying very hard.
It's not that cliche when you think that the boss hates her.
I know, but even that's cliche. Oh, boss hates me. Put me in the closet. Like it's happened so many times.
But think of it this way: you walk through the newsroom, and newsrooms are very much a bullpen, right? And we see that, like sports, they're throwing the ball around. She gets an office. There are people who just have like newsrooms and police stations are bullpens. Like that's how they've always been. she's complaining about getting her own private space, even though it's small. That makes me immediately hate this character. It's like, you got an office. That's fucking amazing. I never had an office before.
One thing I did question is he warns her that the pipe is really hot and will take her skin off. Why did they put the desk up against the pipe?
Maybe move the desk a little bit, yeah.
There was room to move it over. It didn't have to be there. So it's just dangerous.
So as they get to the office, she finds out like her first gig, I guess, is she has to write an obituary for this guy named Monty Waxberg. And he was a musician that was best known for his Yum Yum Bubblegum song. So he's a cartoon, like an advertising jingle guy, which that's another one. We get a lot of jingle guys for musicians.
Yeah, from Joey Gladstone and
2.5 Men. We had Charlie's character. Yeah.
I would push back on that. I wouldn't say Joey Gladstone is a jingle writer. I would say Jesse Cochran is a jingle writer, and Joey Gladstone is his assistant.
We get it. You hate Joey Gladstone.
Jesse's a musician. He writes the songs. It's not that Jesse. Literally, watch any of the episodes where they do the jingles. Jesse writes the songs.
They work together.
Yeah, but Joey is the lyrics guy too.
And just for clarification, were all the jingles written in the pilot when he was still Jesse Cochran?
Oh, sorry, Jesse Katsopoulos.
Katsopoulos?
Also, who came up with the words "totally radio" at Ted's Tire Town?
Yeah, Joe. Who came up with that?
I forgot the important Ted's Tire Town jingle. I like the "Give Me Some Kitty Friskies Now" song personally. Which, fuck, he wrote that too. Okay, Joey. Yeah. Okay, I've been bested. Yeah. Joey did write some jingles because fucking the meow meow is in my head forever, and that's pretty impressive. All right, Joey, meow, you win this round. The puppets in the briefcase.
Meow, meow. It's so catchy.
It's so stupidly catchy. It's so fucking
30
funny.
years
And
old,
Jesse,
and it's still,
Jesse makes the funniest face ever when they pop up. He's so mortified.
Yeah.
You forgot my brain is like a sponge.
Nell does not like that jingle, by the way, and she now is upset that she has to do this guy's obituary.
She annoyingly doesn't like that jingle. Like, she can say, "Oh, that's annoying."
Yeah.
But throughout the entire episode, even when she hears it, she cringes, and I'm like, that's a little much.
I think everyone has like those things that get to you that much that like it just triggers something in you.
You know what Nick's favorite one is? 1877 cars
I
for
knew
kids.
it. Don't do it. I'm taking
KARS cars for kids.
I have to I listen to a lot of sports radio. That song is on every 10 minutes. And I constantly have to shut off the radio.
But now it's a fun remix version. They tried speeding it up.
No, they only play that sometimes. They still play the main one most of the time. I can't believe there's not like public uproar about how often that song is played on the radio. And the only thing I could think of is that it's for a good cause. Like in theory, like that.
Right. It's effective. That's the thing though. Like you remember it.
It is. And it's toxically catchy. I hate it.
Do you know which one I think of all the time? Do you guys remember the Baby Safe Haven one?
Yeah.
You wrote a song that is supposed to be
Safe Haven.
Safe Haven. It's like they got a girl and they were like, "Can you rap?" And she was like, "No." And like, perfect. Quit drilling. We struck oil. And the commercial is about like, it's a very serious thing, right? It's about like, if you aren't going to be able to take care of your kid, like these are the safe places to drop it off, right? Like that's a baby safe haven, like a fire department, a hospital, whatever. And it's just like a teenage girl who can't rap, just going, "Baby Safe Haven." Baby,
I do remember that.
Safe Haven. Like it lives in my brain like at least once a week, and I hope that woman is doing well. I don't know, but that's a terrible thing that she was stuck doing.
She's dead.
You know what one was my favorite was, actually it was a bunch, but it was the freecreditreport.com band.
Yeah, that was a good one, yeah.
Who toured. They fucking went on tour and none of them could speak English, and they were like, just phonetically sing out these songs, I guess, and we'll do a club tour.
Yeah, every once in a while, I'll find like the master mix of them on YouTube, and I'll watch all of them.
You know what? Like, so things that classically, or historically rather, get stuck in my head really easily. I don't know what that means. I think it just means I'm stupid, but I'm not positive about that. But we were in the chat recently, in our side wrestling chat, and talking about this wrestler, Stephen Flo, who comes out to just like a mix of, or a parody of Even Flow by, was that Pearl Jam?
Pearl Jam, yeah.
And so I have been walking around singing Stephen Flo for, what is it, 3 days now, I think. I can't stop. And I could just as easily sing Even Flow, but the Stephen has to come out of my mouth.
I will say this, as somebody who does not like Pearl Jam, our baby seat company in the car is Even Flow, like EVEN.FLO. That every time with the baby in the car, I'm like, Even Flow. And I'm so fucking mad because I fucking hate Pearl Jam so much.
I used to do the same thing.
I'm glad you. Okay. They're good car seats, though, so good for them.
Talk about the TV show again. We get to cut where Nell and Sam are now outside and they're like grabbing a coffee on their break or whatever. Sam's like digging through her bag because she was going to pay for the coffees, and she's like handing all this stuff to Nell, and she hands her like a breast pump, and Nell thinks it's like a horn for like when they go clubbing. She's like, burr, 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 burr.
I thought this was funny.
That's a breast pump.
Your air horn's broken.
I didn't think it was funny at this moment, but I thought the callback eventually made this joke better.
And then Sam gets into the whole, my boobs used to be for flashing people, and now they're for feeding people.
Oh, I got flashed. Very lucky.
We find out she's got a couple kids now, and then she mentions how one of her daughters still wears the flower girl dress that was supposed to be for Nell's wedding. She's like, I hope that doesn't trigger you.
Her response is, way to punch down, Tilly, is so fucking funny to me that she's saying that this child is punching down on her. I got a genuine lol out of that.
You not rent the flower girl dress like you do with all the other stuff?
No, I think the flower girl dress is usually like a...
I don't think you rent that young, do you?
And they're not expensive dresses. You can get one cheaper. It's not going to be like a fine dress.
A close enough color or pattern to like whatever the wedding party's wearing.
Yeah.
And then they start talking about Nell's birthday and what she wants to do. And she's like, oh, I don't want to do anything crazy. I just want to throw down like we used to and pretend that it's not going to take me 3 days to recover.
That one hurt. That's me now.
And as they're having this conversation, she's like, oh shit, hide me. Why? What's going on? It's Scotch tape. And that's when we see Lexi walking by. We talked about it earlier. That's played by Lauren Ash, who, as we said, is originally from, well, not originally from, but best known from Superstore, at least from us. And we find out that Nell and Sam, I guess, historically used to always make fun of her and call her Scotch tape, but she's like the boss. And in the time away, since Nell's been gone, comes to find out that Lexi and Sam have developed into friends. And Nell's feeling a little betrayed by that. She's like, how could you do this? Like, we hate her. She's like, I'm sorry, but it's weird, like, having like another friend that is like a mom or whatever, someone you can relate to. So they got close when Nell went away.
Like, how dare her, though? You can't be mad that she made friends when you abandoned her to go live in England.
Yeah, you left the country for years.
So I think one thing I had issue with a lot throughout the show is they put Nell in situations where she does unlikable things.
Yeah, she's kind of a dick the whole time.
And they try to cover up for that by making life shit on her. So you're like, oh, like, it's like, that's why she's like that, because life's so hard. It's like, no, you can still be a good person.
Yeah, you have to be mean to people for no reason.
But I get you have like your work alliances sometimes and you think you have like the common enemy. And then I guess if like listen, I think we've all worked with people that we just fucking hate. You know what I mean? Like legit hate. And then if you were to like come back and find out that like your work bestie and your enemy are now buddies, like I can see how that would be like, what the fuck happened?
That would suck.
Sometimes like hating someone at work is fun.
It's also the bond. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's less of a thing now in like remote culture. You know what I mean? Because like, I don't know half the company I work for now. You know what I mean? Because like you don't interact with people.
It's not less of a thing for mine. I'm also remote. There is one person that unanimously is disliked. It's hysterical.
Oh, what's his name?
Talking about you, Greg. We're talking about you.
We're talking about you, Gordo.
What the fuck?
Fuck you.
He didn't clear his fucking thumb drive.
When Sam's talking about the whole thing with like having other working moms, Nell's like, well, there's other moms here. Like, what about Tina? Tina would always talk about her kids. She's like, turns out that those kids were dolls and everybody's actually really worried about Tina. And then they cut over And you see, like, Tina's just like this sweet looking old woman who's like across the way dumping an entire bottle of salad dressing into her salad and waving at them with a big smile.
It's a great cutaway.
And knowing that she's like, she looks so happy, and knowing that she's a fucking lunatic makes it so funny to me.
I mean, anybody who puts that much salad dressing on a salad is probably crazy, right?
What are you, against salad dressing now too?
I love salad dressing, but you don't pour a bottle of salad onto a salad dressing.
Dry.
No, I love salad dressing. Oh God, I'm not trying to start a thing here. I'm just saying, even a healthy amount of salad dressing is not a whole fucking bottle of salad dressing.
Salad dressing is a delicate balance because there is too little and there's too much, and the line is like really fine on both ends of it.
I really enjoy just like a oil, vinegar, salt, pepper. I think can be really good, and it's probably one because like I love like a good Italian dressing too, but it's so fucking bad. Like there's so much sugar and shit in those things.
I'm a Caesar salad guy, and that dressing is terrible for you. But if you don't get enough, you're just eating a giant bowl of romaine. There's nothing else in the fucking salad. So
there's usually shaved Parmesan in that. So you
and a little chicken usually, but
and some nice croutons.
But there's not a lot of, you know what I mean? There's not a lot of ingredients. So if you under serve me the dressing, then there's not a lot there.
I'm sure this has come up before, but if somebody gave me a bottle and promised me I wouldn't get sick of the long gone Hilltop salad dressing, I would probably drink a pint glass of it at this point. That was the greatest salad dressing that ever existed, and the fact that nobody took up the mantle to reproduce it is fucking bananas.
That always blows my mind.
It was like yellow, right?
Yeah, it was like bright yellow, and it was very oily because it separated at the bottom, so you'd have to shake it when you got the bottle.
All the best dressings do.
Yeah.
We cut to later on, and now Nell's back at her apartment, and she sees a box of chocolates. She's like, oh, nice. So she thinks that her roommate bought her these chocolates for her birthday. So she just starts like going to town with them. And like kind of in a disgusting way. She's like just shoving them down her fucking gullet. And then she's like, oh, I want to make sure this one doesn't have a cherry in it. So she like bites just the tip to like check it. She's like, nope, caramel.
Oh,
and,
she
like,
squeezes it.
Yeah, she squeezes it in like a very gross manner.
She smushes it in her hand first, yeah.
Also, once you meet this roommate and you get to know him a little more, you understand that this character is even worse because there's no way in hell he would have bought her chocolates. So she fucking knew in the back of her head these were not for her.
Hold on. We'll get to it. So she's eating the chocolate. He comes in and he's like, what are you doing eating my girlfriend's chocolates? I'm going to visit her. And she's like, oh, I thought these were for me. I thought you got them because of my birthday. And he goes, no. I'll say this. I can see it's her birthday. She walked in and she randomly sees a box of chocolates on the counter. I can see why she would think that was for her. But I would probably wait until I spoke with him before I just started eating them. But
I need a card. There's always needs to be a card.
The thing is, this was still savable. She could have, he still could have given these chocolates to his girlfriend, explained she ate one or two. She ensured that can't happen by spitting the chocolate back into the box. It's like, so you just ruined the rest of the chocolates.
And also, if she didn't do that, like, they would have a fun story if he brought the chocolates missing a few, being like, you know, my fucking crazy roommate I was complaining about, she thought these were fucking for her, and she ate like 3 of them. I just thought it was so much funnier if I brought you these ones. Like, that's a story they could have had, but instead she spits up chocolate back into it.
Jay, when you had that random roommate, what did you buy him for his birthday?
2. They shared them. We didn't live there for more than like 2 months. I don't know if either of them had a birthday while I lived there.
Oh yeah, you had Craigslist roommates, right?
No, Jay bought them a birthday gift and then their landlord stole it.
So when I first moved out of my house, I moved into an apartment that another friend of all of ours was at. And basically he moved into an apartment where the guy was renting the rooms individually. It was a 4-bedroom.
That apartment sucked. That was a terrible apartment.
Then we moved in, and within a month I got robbed, and we hadn't signed a lease yet, so we left. So,
was the igloo next? Or was there an in-between?
I think Igloo was next, yeah.
Before I even move on, do you remember when we moved out, they left a letter. They accused us of like stealing their like cherry peppers or whatever it was, like when we were moving out and like moving everything out of the house. And we didn't.
I have a confession to make. I stole the cherry peppers.
You stole my jar of cherry peppers. Like, okay, bud, like, we're okay, right?
Yeah, moving on. I ended up framing that letter and leaving it in our next apartment for the time that we all live there. The two of them these 2 roommates are talking, and he's going over a couple rules while he's gone. He's going to go visit his girlfriend. And by the way, this is her roommate's name's Edward. He's played by Rick Glassman. I don't know if you guys are very familiar with Rick Glassman. He's a comedian.
Yeah, I know.
He has like the Take Your Shoes Off podcast. Like he's a funny dude.
Yeah, he's wicked funny. Great comedian.
He plays Harold Ramis in the Stupid and Futile Gesture movie, the National Lampoon movie, which also has Martin Mull in it too, which is funny. Like they both kind of reunite here.
He almost has the thing too where like he's all the comedians he's friends with, when they do podcasts together, he's kind of fucking with everybody at all times. But there's a thing like as they're talking here, is he's talking about like, you know, all the rules he wants while she's gone. And then as he's about to leave, he bites and goes like, so what are you going to do for your birthday? She's like, oh, I'm thinking about throwing like a massive rager, like probably like have some kegs and like a big band right here near your Peloton. He's like, no, I told you it's like part of our agreement. You can't. And like, he realizes that she's fucking with him and goes like, and he's like, oh, you're joking, aren't you? And she's like, yeah, obviously. What do you have, like Asperger's or something? And he's like, I do. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't. You thought I had Asperger's? I mean, kinda. I do. All right, have a good weekend. By the way, he does. Well, they don't. As he says later in the episode, they don't call it Asperger's anymore. It's just like autism spectrum, you know. Rick Glassman does have that, and he did find that out like later in life. He found out like in his 30s that he has autism.
But this is just more of painting her as the main character in a bad light, because he actually did go that extra step to ask her about her birthday and stuff, and then she comes out with a wise comment.
No, I think it's one thing to like joke around. I think it doesn't look good, especially like modern culture. And like this is a show that's only a couple years old. To be like, what do you have, Asperger's? Like,
I don't even mean that though. I just mean that like he went that extra step, and she knows how he is, and like he saw that she was like kind of depressed on her birthday and reached out, and she still makes a joke.
He still was nice to her.
I didn't read that one. That like I think the asking him if he had Asperger's is worse. I think her joking around is like when you're living with someone you don't know them that well, like you're trying to develop like a rapport and like there needs to be some sort of playful banter. So I think she's just trying to joke around with the guy. So I didn't look at that personally as that bad, but I thought the like accusatory like what are you autistic part didn't look so great. And the fact that he was obviously didn't help.
I think that's the right move, changing the name of it.
Yeah, probably.
Asperger's sounds too much like Asperger's.
But again, it's named that because it was a disease, like, you know, discovered by a doctor whose last name was that. And then you feel so bad because, like, those people, like Lou Gehrig, right? Like, they don't call it Lou Gehrig's disease anymore. And he's like, hey, fuck you. That was my thing. Like, in history, people knew me as a baseball player and the guy with that disease named after me.
Wait, do you think, though, like, I mean, I wouldn't know, but like, you think he wanted that disease named after him? Like, everyone's
I was going to say, I don't think he wants that.
I think it's like discovering a flower or something, though.
He didn't discover it.
Well, he sort of.
It was already a thing. It was just like.
I bet the guy that discovered it is pissed off that Lou Gehrig stole all the credit.
The first person with ALS was like mad at Lou Gehrig, but couldn't do anything about it because he had ALS. It's like the most depressing fucking storyline of all time.
Hey, what about me? What about Alfred Leroy Smith?
And go to S1E1shop.com for our Alfred Leroy Smith t-shirt. Dude, Lou Gehrig's face that just says Alfred Leroy Smith over it. We fucking have to make that shirt.
I don't know a world in which we won't get in trouble, but
I'm literally writing out a post-it note so we don't forget this.
So now we cut to the bar for her birthday, and she's like the first one there, and she's doing a shot. And the camera zooms out a little bit, and that's when we see a gentleman sitting next to her, Monty. As we mentioned, Martin Mull, and he's going, wow, $14 for a cocktail. You know, back in the day, we used to make LSD in a bathtub and give it away for free. Damn, I miss the 90s.
Martin Mull is maybe one of the greatest, funniest people to ever live of all time. We talk about him a lot because he has come up a lot, but man, was he so fucking great.
You know what's funny about him? He has a kind of look that, like, if you look at projects he did 30 years prior,
he looks the same.
He has that same look. So
yeah,
he never changed a lot. His general, like,
Just think about this show and Roseanne, which is what, 3 decades apart. 3 decades.
Decapade sounds like a steroid from the 90s. Delta Warrior was smuggling decapades.
He doesn't look that much different.
No, he did that weird thing where like that happens with people like Stephen Tobolowsky, right? Where who go bald really early.
Yes, I was
like
just
they kind of look
him,
forever the same. But Martin Mull didn't like lose all his hair, but also never looked any different, which is like a really weird thing to think of because he's been, I mean, fuck, like Mary Hartman and Fernwood Tonight. That's all like the mid to late 70s, right? So he looked the same for our whole lives and before that.
Like Ric Flair, who always looked old when he was young. So then when he got old, it didn't look like it was a big deal.
Until he looked like he was the Crypt Keeper all of a sudden.
Yeah, now he looks like he's dead.
He was asking Nell, like, after that, hey, so why is your face buried in your phone? He's like, honestly, like, I was wondering if my ex-fiance was going to bother to wish me a happy birthday, but he hasn't. And he goes, the best way to get over someone is to get under someone else. He's like, oh, thank you for your wisdom. I'll say this was something that was told to me years ago with like post-breakup, like that exact phrase.
Oh, that's like definitely like an older guy joke, right? Like waka waka waka.
It was told to me very seriously when I was dealing with a breakup many moons ago. I mean, it works, but
yeah,
depends where you are, I guess, mentally at the time.
That's also just the same thing as like without being a sexual way, being like distract yourself with something else, right?
Yeah.
Like, when something's bothering you, distract yourself with something else. You don't have to make it sexual, I guess,
Yes, you do.
I mean, you should. It'll make things way easier, but puzzles work too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it can go either way. But if the puzzle is people having sex, then you can really hit both parts.
Best of both worlds.
I got this puzzle of Martin Mull having sex, and now I'm not mad about this breakup I just went through.
The piece I'm missing happens to be his Martin Mull. Right as he's telling her this is when Sam and Dennis walk in, and they run up to Nell and like, hey, happy birthday. Like, sorry we're late. We had to go to the gas station to get you a little something. It's like, oh, condoms and scratchers. Yeah, because you're gonna get lucky this year. For this one?
No. I knew if we invoked condoms and ghosts that Casper was going to have to show up. Casper, everybody in this episode is of age. Oh, he left really quickly that time. That's weird. Okay. Apparently that's the way we do it. See you later, Casper. Fucking Jesus.
Someone must be writing his obituary somewhere.
Tell Tito we say hi, bud. We'll see you next week.
Sam says, hey, we're going to have a great time tonight, no matter who else shows up. Like, who else is coming? And then we see Lexi walk in. She goes, hi, squirrel friend. Sorry I'm late.
You know what? Since I've shit on the main character so much, now I'm going to stick up for her. Why would you invite her when you know she hates her? It's her birthday.
I agree. This was such a shitty thing to do after all. Not only have you befriended someone you know your friend hates, but you've now had a conversation about how she's not totally cool with the fact that you've befriended this person, and then you invite her to her fucking birthday party.
Oh, also, and it's your boss. Unless you were like real friends with your boss. Like I've had plenty of bosses who have been friends with enough that I've been like, we should hang out on my birthday or your birthday. But I've had plenty of bosses where I was like, if you show up at my birthday, I'll murder you for ruining my birthday. And this is one of those scenarios.
If you're Sam and your old bestie's back and you've befriended Lexi and you kind of want this to all eventually gel at a point where you guys can all get along, I get it. Not like day one of her coming back, not on her birthday when you know she hates her. Like, this is going to need time to develop. If it's ever going to develop, it's going to need time. And you cannot do it on her birthday.
She's also going through a very rough patch. So
yes.
Right. It's like she's like doing well. You know what I mean? But like, again, I think it's just easy. Like we've all had bosses we're friends with and like happy to drink with them, happy to hang out with them. But then there's the ones you don't. And that's just like such a golden rule to me that you would never breach that, personal and work for those people.
And why'd you call her a squirrel?
Yeah, what up, squirrels?
Look, also, I feel like her friend should have known better too, that her friend is a sloppy drunk, that she was going to say some shit to her because she was drunk. And like, this was doomed to fucking fail.
So we cut a little later and now they're all sitting at the table together. And Lexi's saying, well, I hope it's not too weird that I crashed your birthday. And Nell's like, no, it's not weird at all. We're coworkers. She's like, well, not exactly. I mean, I'm your boss. And she's like trying to be like kidding, but not. And then she kind of goes on to be like, I am trying to be a different kind of boss than my father was. He was so aloof and out of touch. She says, if I've learned anything after I broke my back during my Olympic dressage trials.
Dressage. That's horse dancing.
Oh, that's what horse dancing is called?
They do like that, like little trot thing.
Oh, that's what she was doing? I knew she was like, I didn't know if it was like regular equestrian stuff. I didn't know it was specifically horse dancing.
Dressage is very specific. If you want the funniest thing ever is in the end scene of Django Unchained, there's like the weird dressage scene when the house blows up, and that's Jamie Foxx's real horse, and he was like, I want my horse to do dressage because it can. And they were like, that's fucking weird, why not? Let's do that. So if you notice, after the fucking mansion blows up and Samuel Jackson gets killed, the horse does like the bow thing, and it's because that's actually Jamie Foxx's horse who does that.
And I'm sorry, did you just pronounce the D?
What D?
Just Django.
It's just Django Unchained.
Oh, did I say Django? Django Unchained. The D is silent. Historically in the movie they mentioned that. I don't know why my brain did that wrong, but you know what I mean.
She shouldn't be there, but if Sam wants this to happen, she needs to do a better job at bridging this gap. It's not talking a friend up to her. It's not like mingling them to make this friendship happen. Instead, she's just sitting there.
There was a story that comes up like right after where it comes up how Sam and Lexi's families potted together. Does that mean anything different than like potting plants? They said she's like, you guys potted together? And I was like, what is that? I don't know what that means.
Oh, I do not know potted, no.
Funny, because they do, you're right, they say potted, but in my head I took it as like they were jarring vegetables.
Yeah.
Jarring.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they were actually regardless, the story as it goes.
Use it in context again? Use it in context again?
Now we're a spelling bee. Can you say the word in context?
Like, because I don't remember it.
Well, all Lexi had said was like, oh, it reminds me one weekend during quarantine when our families potted together.
That's when I realized the show was newer than I thought.
Because they're talking about the quarantine in past tense?
Yeah. I thought this was like early 2000.
Yeah, no, the only thing I'm finding is that, potting to pot together is a slang term to just like smoke weed together, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's how they became close.
No, that might be the family all smoked weed together because they were stuck in quarantine. And
no, they're both like moms. That's like what they bonded over. They weren't getting all the kids high.
Oh, the kids didn't have to pot.
I think we're overthinking it. They were obviously just making like potted plants. Like,
yeah, whatever it was, they were doing it together. And as the story is being told, it's basically Lexi's way of saying like, it was like we're doing that and we're like sharing some wine. Sam was really honest with me about how I come off. And, I'm really grateful to have a friend like her who was able to kind of like enlighten me to how I come off to other people. We're learning a little bit about, at least Lexi's somewhat self-aware as to how she comes off and realizes that she needs to work on herself. So even though we're seeing her be a little rough around the edges with some people and maybe not the most savory of humans, and understanding why Nell probably doesn't like her, we're getting a little tidbit here about, okay, she is at least acknowledging that she needs to improve herself.
Yeah, I do appreciate they like give her the arc of being bad, realizing, and then improving, instead of just being like cutting out the middle, which I feel like some of these sitcoms do, because like you're stuck on 22 minutes, right? Like sometimes it's just like, and they're better now, and you're like, we didn't see any of that. Like they just happen to be better. So at least they do the writing technique of working it through a little bit.
And then we get like a little cut forward. Lexi and Dennis are like out on like the dance floor area doing karaoke. They're doing Don't Go Breaking My Heart. And while they're doing that, it gives Nell and Sam an opportunity to talk like alone at the table. Sam saying like, oh, you're okay with her being here, right? It's like, yeah, I guess I didn't realize you guys were like friends.
Also, not to invoke Joey Gladstone again, but isn't there a very famous scene in Full House where Joey is playing piano with the Elton John glasses on while Stephanie is doing a duet Michelle's doing a duet with Nelson? No, who's the nerdy friend of Michelle's?
Is it? I think it is Nelson.
No, Nelson. I know who Nelson is. It's not Nelson's DJ's friend.
It's the kid. It's the rich kid from.
Oh, Nelson's the rich kid who marries DJ. Yeah, but they do Don't Go Break My Heart as a duet like this, and they cut to Joey. He's wearing the Elton John glasses and doing like the funny face on the piano.
So yeah, they're doing the song as they're talking. Nell's basically telling Sam like, yeah, no, it's cool, but like you owe me a do-over. And she's like, I got us these 2 tickets for this underground thing on Saturday night. It's a 80s prom night. She's like, I think I'd wear like my wedding dress and you could wear your maid of honor's dress and like, put some use to it. She's like, oh, I would, but Saturday night I have plans. And then Nell realizes, you have plans with Lexi on Saturday, huh? It's like, yeah. So now it's like, I don't know, even in that conversation when Sam's like, you're cool with her being here, right? First off, she should have had the wherewithal to realize that why would she be cool with this? And then like I can see like Nell being a little bummed. She's like, well, make it up to me, like we could do this fun thing, just the 2 of us. And knowing that she already has, it's not that anyone's at fault, but like from Nell's perspective, I could see why she'd be a little bummed to hear like, oh, I can't, the 2 of us have already made plans.
She expects everyone to drop their lives because she came back.
Yeah.
No, and I understand that. But I guess it's like the whole feeling like you're being replaced by your enemy. I can see how that stings.
What we don't see too is how in contact they were while she was gone. I'm sure Nell was like not as communicative as she used to be, right? Like she was living her life in England, and also you're like they're in California, so it's what, 6-hour time difference? No, 5.
It's 6. It's 6 from us.
From London.
So London is an extra 3, so that's 9 hours, right? So no, London's 5 from
6.
here.
No, London's 5, depending on the time.
GMT from the East Coast is 5 hours. So from 5 hours to here plus California is 3, so 8 hours, right? So
yeah, it's 5 right now.
You're never gonna be talking like that's a very easy way to fuck up. Like it's just gonna be off, right? Like if it's 8 hours, that's a big difference. If it's midnight and 8 a.m., right?
Lexi and Dennis walk back after they finish their song. I think Nell now just is a little bitter because of the news, just that they made plans or whatever. So now she's like, woo, and clapping for them. She's like, let's give it up for Dennis and Scotch Tape. And Lexi's like, Scotch Tape's like, oh yeah, this is like a nickname we gave you, like just some little inside jokes between old friends.
This scene makes her the most unlikable of all fucking time too. Like it's so hard to be on her side for this scene.
Right. And it's like, oh, Scotch Tape because you're stuck up, get it? Like, we all thought you were
also,
Scottish.
Also, that joke
too.
sucks. That joke is fucking terrible.
Yeah, that's lame.
And then we thought you were Scottish because you yelled at someone once and it reminded them of Braveheart. Like, all of it, like, it wasn't great. She's drunk, but whatever. It's,
not to constantly invoke The Office, as we always do, but it's a perfect sitcom. Would they call the stuck-up people popsicles because they have sticks up their butt? That at least makes sense. Saying, you're stuck up, so we call you Scotch Tape. Be like, oh, I use you to put... But no, it doesn't work. You can't even make it work. That famously stiff Scotch Tape that stands straight up.
Yeah, I think this is just another moment where I understand why she's upset, but her behavior is not justified, and it makes her look like a real asshole.
Yeah.
And Lexi, although Lexi needs work, the last thing we heard her say was, hey, I appreciate your friendship and I understand that I need growth. And then the next thing you see her doing is like singing a song and trying to be fun. And then you just have Nell berating her and calling her names. So it's like, they're not making the main character someone that we're supposed to like at this moment. And I think we should be liking the main character.
I think you're not supposed to like the main character, but this goes one step too far where you're like, the redemption's going to be harder now for no reason.
You're a villain.
We should see that they have flaws, you know what I mean? But yeah, you have to make them somewhat likable. And at this point, it's just a little too hard.
You at least need a few more events in that night to piss her off to the point of snapping, not her being there and then her not being able to hang out with Sam because they already had plans.
And you can see it hurt her feelings too. So after that whole thing too, Lexi's like, I'm just gonna grab my bag. Like she was just like, she cut deep for no reason in this moment.
Also, that's your boss, you dumbass.
Yeah.
Also that you just move back, like you have no roots, you're living with somebody you don't like, you have to have a roommate, and you're being mean to the person who pays you, like.
So the only thing I thought was there was something like right before that, right, where Lexi's explaining that Sam, after having a couple drinks, was honest with her and like she respected that. And I didn't know if maybe that's what she was trying to do, but took it too far because that's like what was just explained to her a moment prior.
No, I just think the character is that kind of person who's one step from mean drunk, and those people you have to be like very careful around. Where you're like, this could turn sideways very quickly. I know you're not drinking alcohol, but me saying that and you cracking up in a can at the exact same time was a very funny audio moment. He has no J. He's a mean fucking drunk.
We get to like later on, we flash forward a little bit. Nell's home now, alone, and she's still drinking. She's actually, if you paused it, you saw she was drinking Lightning Hard Seltzer. I believe is a made-up brand, but they did a nice little... I paused it out of curiosity to see what she was drinking, and they did a good job with like the props department making like a believable logo. She's also blowing up the condoms into balloons.
Which is very fun.
Oh, that's gross. Then you're going to have that latex smell like right under your nose for like ever because it never goes away.
Wait, what are these again? She's blowing up. I didn't
You
recognize.
blow
these.
up condoms often?
No, but they're in his mouth, so it's right next to his nose.
I'm saying that condoms smell terrible, and Joe said it's fun to blow them up. That would be terrible.
The taste is terrible too.
You know when you put a condom in your mouth and there's like powder in your throat for like a day?
I'm sorry, condoms don't smell terrible?
No, they do. Of course they do. But that's such a thing I never thought of until this moment where like sex workers who like do a half and half, like blowing somebody with a condom on must be such a weird, fucking terrible thing to have to do.
So Nell goes and opens up the fridge and she sees a sign that says, if you're reading this, then the fridge has been open too long. She's like, oh my God.
I like that note.
I do too. It's very Odd Couple, right? Like all the notes that are around, like out of cornflakes.
I can see Felix leaving that note.
Yeah. Now modern fridges just fucking yell at you if you leave them open for like 1 second longer than they think you should.
Yeah, mine shuts the light off and I go, fuck you.
Yeah. Mine goes like wah wah wah, like a fucking submarine going down. It's like, okay, I'll close it. I'm sorry.
After she reads that sign, you hear, well, it's true. And then we see that Monty from the bar is in the kitchen. Now, I'm wondering, so what we realize is she's like, don't come any closer or I will kill you. He goes, don't bother. I'm already dead. At this point, did you realize when you saw him at the bar, like who he was, that he was the yum yum bubble gum guy?
No, but she should have.
No.
She's been researching him since she got to work.
Yeah, I'm with Ferg in this one. I didn't, but like she probably should have recognized his face, right? Because she looks when she pulls up the
but what are the
file,
odds? Like you're not like you could be like, oh, you look familiar, but you're not expecting to see a ghost next to you and come off as a real person.
Fair.
Yeah, no, I think this is one of those. If you didn't know the premise of the show and you weren't expecting it, I think they did a good job with like the reveal here. Because even when he first pops up in the kitchen, you might think, oh, did she take that guy home from the bar? I almost think they should have almost played that off like she didn't know what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of her getting into like I'm going to go home and binge, almost have it where like skip this part and get right into the morning where he's in the apartment with her when she wakes up. I think would have been a better like false, you know what I mean? Like we think he spent the night and she just took this guy home.
You combine that with the scene in Dad's with Martin Mull with the robe falls off or the towel falls off and he's just naked and you have two bad scenes made so much better.
Because yeah, I thought it was almost meant to be a misdirect. Like, did this guy just follow her home from the bar? But they revealed the fact that he was dead immediately. And I think they could have like given you a minute to have that doubt.
One issue I have with this show is they don't do any like fun ghost things. Like there's no like she has like the knife to protect herself. She stabs him, it goes right through. Or like even he pokes his head through the wall after she goes and hides in the room. It's just like there's nothing like that. The ghost is just always there.
Yeah.
Saves you a fuck ton of money though if you avoid all that shit.
But it's so much less fun, you know?
But I do love that he's like, I haven't had to pee since I got here, and like that's the dream, right? Where it's like, you're dead, you're still kind of present, but no bathroom anymore. Like so much free time. We
talked about this earlier when he introduces himself. It's like, yeah, I wrote the yummy yum bubble gum. And she's like, dude, she just is so like, like she hates that song so much that finding out in live time that she can see a dead person, she's still like, don't sing that song.
Yeah, it digs deep where I'm like, is there a backstory to this? Why does she hate the song so much? Yeah, did like she get beaten as a child while the song was on the background? Yeah.
It was playing when her husband left her.
But in an English accent. It's like Jason Statham is singing this song and I don't want to be there for it.
She like holds up the obituary stuff that she's working on. So she has like a picture of him like in her apartment for reference and realizes it is the same person. And that's when she's like, no. I don't see dead people. No. This has to be the chili cheese fries and the cake and the 5 cocktails. Maybe that gummy I ate. And he goes, whoa, go easy there, Keith Richards.
The only thing that struck me on this was like chili cheese fries is not a good move.
Yeah, it is. It's always a good move.
I do like chili cheese fries.
Yeah, everyone does, but does everyone like the morning after that when you've had 5 cocktails and cake and...
I live in the now, Joe. At the morning next.
I live in a world of consequences, so I don't need as much chili cheese fries as I used to.
I'm actually drunk. I'll fuck up chili cheese fries.
I thought this was a bit weird. She's like, this isn't real. I'm going to bed. I'm going to throw a bunch of boxes in front of my door so you can't get in. And then just like leaves them there. If you thought there was even a 1% chance that it's a real human, you don't like, I'm going to bed. You stay in the, like, knowing this person's still in the house. Don't you try to be like, get out, like walk out the front door or something?
Yeah, you wouldn't be like, I'll put some boxes in front of my door and pass out and I'm probably fine, right? Like, that's the most insane fucking logic ever.
So we cut to the morning and now she's waking up in her room and there he is. And he wishes her good morning. She jumps out of bed, grabs a dustbuster. Stay back. How'd you get past the boxes? He's like, I don't know. I've never been dead before.
That works in the movie Casper.
Oh, no, not now.
Oh, shit.
You had your chance. Berg, careful.
Because of her screaming, her roommate, Edward, walks in and he's like, are you okay? I just got home and I heard you scream. And this is like when she realizes that he can't see Monty. He's like, yeah, I'm okay. And he's like, and can you clean the living room? It's filled with condoms. Oh, yeah. What do you think the dustbuster's for?
That's maybe the funniest line of the episode, though. Like, imagine, like, we've all had roommates before. You come home and you're like, there are condoms all... I mean, like, luckily there are dry condoms. And that's a different scenario. But we once at one of my apartments had a landlord who... We had a recycling get refused, which happens to my neighbors constantly because they put trash in their recycling bins. And then the recycling truck's like, I'm not taking them. I can see, like, fucking food sticking out or whatever. But one time we got a thing that was like, there's a used condom in the trash barrel and a recycling bin and we're not taking it. And like our landlord had to write us a note that was like, used condoms, guys, parenthetical, yuck. We're like, whoa, that's such a funny fucking extra move to have to put. Like, you could have just called us and been like, I'm a landlord and that sucks, but like, please don't put condoms in the fucking recycling bin. And it wasn't any of us either. So we were like, it could have been somebody walking by or like somebody who had sex in the park or something. Like, you know, you don't know. But that's what I always think of. It's just him saying parenthetical, yuck.
Yeah.
Also, can we just talk about how pretentious that trash man is?
Right?
Like, just fucking throw the barrel away, you weirdo.
He's a recycling man.
I actually like the idea of Joe's story where 2 people had sex in like a park. And the guy's like, what am I going to do with this condom? I'm just going to walk around with it until I find a recycling bin.
To be fair, we were right next to a park, so...
I just like the people who fuck in a park, but he's like, we're going to use protection and I'm going to throw this away.
I'm going to use an improper receptacle, but receptacle nonetheless.
I do like that he's like, kids hang out here in the daytime. I can't leave the condom here.
So she's going like, this isn't happening. What's going on? Like, I know I've been sad lately and maybe a little depressed. I probably haven't been taking care of myself. Maybe I just need to exercise more. Oh, great. Maybe we should go for a bike ride. He's so sweet. Like, no, I think I need some air. And she runs down the street. She's basically still like in her pajamas. She's in like shorts with like a robe on. And she's, as she first runs out, she says like, hey, Siri, text Sam. Sorry, I got overserved last night. Can we grab a cup of coffee later? And then when she like finishes doing that, she walks up to a food truck. And when she goes like to look up into the order window, Monty pops out. He's like, you don't want to eat here. 2 words, cockroaches.
Martin Mull is so fucking funny that he is a tour de force in this whole scene.
I like that right after because she then runs off, gets in a cab. She's like, go, 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 go. And then in the passenger seat, he like turns around to her. He goes, Nell, get out of the car. This is the guy that killed me. What? Just kidding. It was prostate cancer.
So fucking funny. So fucking funny. But I would say I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that like we're saying Nell's not like a likable character, that she can't even take the fucking heat on her for drinking too much.
Yep.
She was overserved. I drank too much. The bartender was at fault for serving me too much. Like, fuck you, man. That doesn't work. We've all tried that. That does not work.
And now we see her walking down the street and he's like a couple feet behind her and she's like, stop following me. Like, what do I have to do to get you to leave? He's like, I don't know. I don't know why I'm here. There's no rules. There's no instructions. It's very poorly run.
That's the one thing I love about the world building of this episode, where it's like, he doesn't know either. Like, it would be a bummer if the character was like, I was told by Saint whoever that you have to right the wrong. Because like if you go into something like Quantum Leap, right, which this has like a sort of tangential relation to, Sam has to figure out the wrong and right it, but somebody tells him all of those things, right? Like this is more fun because you have to figure it out with them and then write it. And then we figure out that like apparently it's just writing a good obituary about them, sort of.
Yeah, I guess.
I would like a scene where she reaches out to other obituary writers and be like, "Hey, when you got this job, did you start seeing ghosts?"
It's such a sad sacks being like, I fucking hate this job. This was supposed to be like my starter job in the news industry. Now there's 30 dead people ripping bingers in my fucking apartment and I can't get away from it.
So we get to a point where like they cut to like they just change angles to change your perspective, and it's supposed to be like what the rest of the world can see, basically, which is a world where Monty's not visible. And you just see her screaming like at nobody, "Go to the light, Carol Ann!" And like a crazy person in the middle of the street, which I thought that was funny. Like you get that, you need that like once in a while, like remember that no one else can see him. And I felt like that was maybe one thing that the show was lacking, was like like in Charlie Hoover, like where he would keep talking to Charlie and people would be like, "What?" Like there wasn't enough of that, like her almost like coming off like she was crazy for talking to an invisible friend.
One of my favorite things about this whole show is that she wears the one headphone in for the rest of the episode now, so that when she talks to the ghost, people don't think she's talking to a ghost. That's actually like a really good, I think, writing technique.
Smart,
to be like,
yeah.
This is how she doesn't look like she's fucking crazy all the time.
Well, I think this is a good, like, a rare example of when modern technology is implemented into a show in a way that's smart.
It works.
Because a lot of times we go, how would this work modern day? Like, this doesn't make sense. And this is like someone making sense of the fact that certain technologies exist and like weaving it together.
It, to me, also that makes her more of a villain, though, because like you're in line with somebody and they're just fucking having a conversation. Like you're in line at like getting coffee and you're like, shut the fuck up, talk later. You're in line at a coffee shop. You can't be having a full conversation with your headphones and you fucking dickhead.
That's better than the people that just have their phone on speaker. And
why is that so common now? Oh my God, it's everywhere. People just speakerphone.
It's wild. Yeah.
Do you know you can go to? Oh, I'm not even gonna get going on this one because it drives me nuts.
There was a point where when she's saying all this, like, "Oh, I need to figure out something like in the movies to get rid of you," and she says, like, "I absolve you of your messed up life," and he's like, "My messed up life?" She's like, and she goes, "Yeah, your messed up life. I don't know if you remember, but I've been writing about you, and you're a dead, twice reversed wannabe musician who wrote a jingle that made me hate bubblegum."
This bitch, all right? I'm done with her. He's a sweet man who just died. Have some sympathy, and you shit on his life. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, for real. She's like unforgivably rude for no reason.
Also, like a man who's 80 years old who's been divorced twice, like you don't know his life. Like you can't throw that on him as it's a fucking downside for him. Like maybe he married poorly young and like they were too young, it didn't work out, and he found his true love, which we do find out happened. But like,
or maybe his whole wife cheated on him, huh? Maybe that happened.
Like you don't know the story. Maybe he was married to somebody who he thought he loved and she was terrible. Like there's a lot there.
At least he sticks up for himself, though. He is like, "Well, what about you?" He's like, "I've been around you for 24 hours, and I can already tell you're no prize. You drink too much, you're jealous of other people's happiness, and you literally just run away from every difficulty in your life." He goes, "I'm not doing this." And he goes, "See, look, you're running away."
He's right on. He hits the nail on the head for all of those, except for the running away part. I don't think we got much of that in the episode.
No, it worked for the immediate joke, but yeah.
Yeah.
She realizes in that moment that she missed Sam calling her back, and she plays the message that got left for her, and she goes, "Hey, got your text last night, got a little out of hand. I mean, I know it was funny how we used to not like Lexi, but she's been a great friend to me while you've been gone. She's also the boss, so if I were you, I would think about apologizing. Anyways, I guess I'll talk to you later." We cut to like later on, and Nell's walking into Lexi's office, which, by the way, is fucking gigantic. It's like a very like, for a newspaper, you would think like she runs Google when you look at this office.
Funny too if you compare that to her closet office.
But you see in these movies too, like usually the people who run a newspaper or like an organization where there's like a big room below them or near them that's like big glass windows, so they're watching and making sure work is happening and like the stuff's getting done, right? Like it's weird to have her in like a dark teak wood room or whatever where she can't see anything.
I assume that's her dad's old office, and I guess he was aloof running the thing. She says it earlier.
That's fair. He didn't give a shit about the news. He just ran his business. Yeah.
She's got that giant painting behind her desk of like her with the horse. But like the horse who's like, now that you guys have explained to me that it's like horse dancing, kind of makes sense because the horse is like standing in a way that it almost looks like it's a prom photo, like the painting of them.
It's the sideways head thing, yeah.
Way better than any picture I've seen of Cigar.
She likes to keep it as a reminder of her failures. And then when she asks Nell what she's doing, she's like, oh, I wanted to, drop off some apology donuts last night. I wasn't at my best. And I just wanted to say I'm sorry. And I promise I'll be more professional moving forward. And then Lexi's like, did you steal those from the break room? No, why? Several have bites taken out of them, and it says break room on the box.
Fuck you. Fuck you. You are so irredeemable in this moment.
This I thought was really bad. This is actually like, it's like dumb, but I thought this, out of a lot of things, made her look really, really shitty. Because now it's like a disingenuous apology. You look stupid. And you stole from your coworkers.
Now no one gets donuts.
Yeah.
Oh, also, she's the one who took the bites out of them. You're a fucking monster.
At least make the effort to notice it says break room on the front.
Look, what does a dozen donuts cost? Fucking what, $8 or something, right? Like, you couldn't be a good enough person to just stop when you get coffee on the way to work to buy a dozen donuts. Like,
but what does the taking little bites do? Why'd you take little bites out of the donuts?
Make sure there's not cherry in there, I guess, right? Because she's a fucking nightmare.
So yeah, I thought this did her no favors as far as like trying to make her more likable or relatable. And then she's like, all right, well, bye, I guess. And then Lexi's like, well, that was a pretty half-assed apology. Like, obviously you have something you want to say to me, so be a reporter, give me the full story. She's like, I don't think that's a good idea. She's like, no. She's like, how about this? Let's take 30 seconds and tell the other person exactly what we think of them with no repercussions. I'll go first. I think you're a sloppy drunk. And she goes, whoa, okay, we're getting right into that, huh? And then they start going back and forth with one another. And they're just throwing things. Like, I think your relationship with your horse is inappropriate. I think your shirt looks like you bought it from Wet Seal. I forgot that Wet Seal is that still a place? I remember that being in the mall.
I don't know if it's still a place, but not a place I've thought about in a very long time, for sure, yeah.
That's when she also admits that she took bites out of the donuts and this back and forth. I like when Lexi says to Nell, though, you still work in newspapers. And then she goes, you work in newspapers.
That's a fun modern dig, right? Where it's like, they're both in a dying industry.
Even if you're the boss, yeah, you can't use that as a dig.
Yeah, but you're running a newspaper.
Lexi actually says, I knew you didn't want me at your birthday party, but I invited myself anyways. I thought that was like, it's like, are you trying to confuse us as the viewer? Because like, who am I supposed to hate right now?
Oh, I find it quite easy. I know who I hate right now.
I thought that was a little weird for Lexi to be like, I know you didn't want me and I went anyways. Like, that's kind of, now you can understand why Nell hates her, like when she says shit like that. But Nell hits her back with that, well, I don't think you're good enough to be friends with Sam, which you knew kind of like that was the one that hit Lexi a little bit like below the belt. Not below the belt, but I guess like hurt her. So that's when she gives her like the, all right, you want to get real? And tells her basically, all right, Dennis asked me to hire you. I said no. You gave up on a promising career to chase after some guy. And when it didn't work out, I'm supposed to pick up the pieces? I only changed my mind when Sam told me that you were in a sad spot and really needed to catch a break. I hired you for her, but I am your boss. And if you don't perform, you will be the first to go. And it won't matter who you're friends with. And I thought like, good point.
Yeah.
All great points. And good for you.
Lexi's tough because personality-wise, like, she's not someone you can mess with, but when you go story-wise in the situations she put in, you're like, okay, well, she's the more likable of the two here. Especially, like, that whole, like, I didn't want to hire you. Like, for no reason should you be back here, but out of respect to my friend, Sam, I brought you back.
The writers are in, like, a tricky place because they need to have a reason why you don't like this girl. But you also can't make her that shitty that you can't believe that Sam would be her friend. So it's like, how do you find that happy medium?
Yeah.
I don't think they did a great job of finding it here, but after that, now I was like, I don't really think this is a fun game, by the way. It's like, it's a lot better when you're playing with your family, which tells you a lot about Lexi's family life.
I wonder if we get more of that. We must, right? We must like meet her dad.
We eventually get, like we said, Brad Garrett's the father. We don't get him in this episode.
Brad Garrett's dad, yeah.
Oh, but even in this episode, when she's on the phone with him later, you kind of get the idea that he's shitty, or at least mean to her.
And yeah, and I feel like this whole scene was supposed to make Lexi look a little bit more like this is why they don't get along, but I just think they did a poor job of making her look bad.
Yeah, Lexi does not feel like a villain in this, but Nell feels like she's the worst. Again, just too many times to make her feel like an irredeemable character, and that's maybe not the best thing in a pilot. Like, she gets redeemed in the end, but you can only redeem so much.
Does she?
Well, that's what I'm saying, is like, you only redeem so much. Like, she's turned a corner, but like, doesn't make up for everything, right? Like, she's not a good person for 30 minutes. It doesn't make her better if she's good for 1 minute, you know?
Yeah, it's like Good Grief, which we covered a couple weeks ago. It's like, he's shitty the whole time, and then you have that one redemption thing with the little boy burying his hamster. It's like, that's not enough to erase this guy stealing from the dead.
He's still stealing a like $1 million sports car from a dead person, but it's like, well, he did bury a chipmunk. It's like, well, he's fine then. We should probably leave him alone then. Yeah.
Go back and listen to our Good Grief episode if you haven't yet. So we cut forward a little bit. Nell is back at home and she's in her room.
Just real quick, sorry, weird side note. The weird synergy between these two is that in every fucking Howie Mandel comedy bit in the 80s, he'd blow up the rubber glove. And she blows up the condom. So they're kind of companion episodes. Back
to Nell's house. She's sitting in her room and she's like, "Are you here?" And then we get Monty going, Yeah, I'm here. And he goes, "I keep closing my eyes and hoping when I open them, I'll be in Madrid." And she's like opening up to him. She needs someone to talk to. So she's like, might as well talk to this ghost. She's like, for some dumb reason, I just thought I'd come back home and like pick up where I left off, but everything's changed and I feel really disconnected from everyone. And he goes, "So what are we going to do? Just sit here and feel sorry for the rest of eternity?" He's like, "Am I in hell?" She's like, "If you're with me, probably." He's like, "Oh my God, I can't listen to your whining. I'm either going to smother you with the pillow or we're going out." And she's like sitting there going, "Smother me."
This is fun for Monty too, though, because he doesn't know where he is or how long he's stuck there. Or like that question's kind of real. He's like, "Am I in hell? Do I have to like hang out with this nightmare person forever?"
It's an interesting part. Yeah, it's an interesting part of this whole thing that's not explained much, and I kind of wish they leaned more into is like him also having no clue why he's there.
Yeah.
And I hope that would be something in future episodes too that like would be a recurring thing, right? Because none of them in theory should know why they're there.
Can he interact with the world? Like, can he move things? Like, what are the ghost rules in this? So
I think by the end scene we learn he can't, right?
And I like here too, like the whole they're starting to like joke around a little bit too. Like when he's like, "Am I in hell? Like, should I smother you with this pillow?" And she's saying, "Smother me." Like they're becoming like buddies in a way, which I think is kind of cute.
Now, this is a weird thing in my own broken brain stuff, but do you guys find in these worlds that it makes consequences less consequential because there is an afterlife?
Yes, it is kind of it's not a paradox. I know what you mean, and yeah, it does.
It depends on how you look at consequence. And I think there's like a much larger, broader conversation that delves into faith and all this stuff like that. But the theory has always been like, if you have strong faith, you have to do good to achieve the afterlife in a way that's not hellfire and brimstone, right? So
right.
if you live with no consequences, you don't get that afterlife. So there's that to motivate you to want to do good and live with consequence.
But like, as a good person who does not believe in an afterlife, flying is terrifying. You know what I mean? Like, there's those weird things where like, why am I risking more than I should?
True.
And so when I put these people in there, I'm like, I don't know. If I was her, I'd be like, so I know for sure there's an afterlife. I'll just be a good person. It unlocks a weird level of your brain at that point. I feel like
sure.
if you realize there is an afterlife, I feel like it unlocks a weird part of your brain where you're like, okay. And I feel like at that point, you inherently would be so good. Which, when characters aren't, it doesn't make sense to me. Because if you know there's a good afterlife, then you also know there's a bad afterlife. So when a character finds out there's a good afterlife and doesn't immediately become the best person in the world who's like feeding the poor and like...
It's still new. There's a little bit of an adjustment period, I guess.
But you could get hit by a train tomorrow still, once you find out, right? Like, I feel like it should be like an immediate 180.
But everything you're talking about, like that thought train still has to enter the brain, and like you still have to kind of arrive at that, that place.
if you want to go back to one of our other shows, The Good Place, they kind of delve into this because you can't do good things just because you know you're going to get into the good place by doing it. That automatically makes it selfish. Yeah. So, it has to be inherently good. So that makes it harder almost because you're like, well, fuck. I mean, like, now I know this. How do I do something without it being with the, intent to get to the good place? So it definitely puts you in a predicament.
Did it occur to anyone at this point that this could all be in her head? Like, she's researching this guy, she's under a ton of stress, and now she's just seeing him and losing her mind.
See, she brings that up herself. She says that. She's like, she kind of, which I think is a plot device to make you realize that that's not what's happening.
Like, it's not the case because of the next scene at the dinner.
I just think, like, even just like the idea of like just to be like removed from it, to just understand that we're watching a show. So if you already know that the show you're watching, like, it can't just be like, oh, never mind, I was just cranky or ate too much pork. Yeah.
Maybe it's the twist though. It's like a reverse Shyamalan twist.
You would have to but that would have to come out like years later, right? Like, it couldn't even be like a episode. We'd have to believe this to be true regardless.
I do love the term reverse Shyamalan though. Super funny. How'd you describe the episode? Reverse Shyamalan.
So he convinces her to go out, and now we cut to this like nice outdoor restaurant, and it's nighttime, and Nell's dressed up really nice, and it's a table for two, but obviously from the viewpoint of everyone else, she's just alone. And Monty, to her, is sitting across from her, and she's like, this is so dumb. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we going to split a bruschetta? And she starts to put her headphones on again to for the cover up. And he's like, you don't need those things. Like, I feel like everyone's staring at me, like, wondering, like, what's wrong with me and why I'm all alone in such a beautiful place. He gets into his life a little bit, and he's like, let me tell you something. I was a prodigy on the piano. I moved to California in the summer of love, and I was going to make incredible music. And I ended up writing Yummy Yum Bubble Gum. And then even then she's still like, stop singing. Like, she cannot hear this without freaking out, which I do kind of like the consistency there. And he goes, I know, it's embarrassing because I wanted to do so much more. And I got angry and I pushed people away. And eventually I climbed out of my own ass and I realized that there were people all around me living their lives, not caring about what life should be, but about what life is. And when I got that, everything changed. I mean, look at that woman over there. She's not self-conscious. She's just enjoying life happening right now. And you cut over and you see like a woman at a table who's like, I don't know, a few tables away, just by herself, just enjoying the night. She's going, you don't have to do this. What? This Ghost of Christmas Future stuff. Like, if I don't change my ways, I'm going to end up alone, all dressed up wearing some ugly turquoise necklace. And he goes, or maybe you wear it because your husband bought it for you in Spain for your anniversary. And she realizes that that's his wife.
It gets so heavy out of nowhere here, yeah.
And then she starts crying because she feels bad because she realizes it's his wife and she's widowed. You know what I mean? Like, this guy just died and she's freshly widowed and she's just alone, just trying to like make the most of her night. You know what I mean? I'm going to be completely honest with you. I didn't want to tell you guys until like we recorded. For the first time in any show we've covered, and maybe in any just regular sitcom, I legitimately teared up when this scene unfolded, because I just thought it was like, I swear, it was like such just like a beautiful moment where he just wanted to be around her, and he's trying to explain to Nell like the importance of like just enjoying your life and making the most of it, and he's not sure why he's on Earth, and he just wants to see his wife, just be okay. And you see her at the table, like, she's not like moping around, you know what I mean? She's just sitting there and just enjoying things. But I don't know why it hit me. Like, when the reveal happened that was his wife, it like, I don't know. I think I'm just like emotionally fucked in the head right now, but like whatever it was, but it hit me. It legitimately, like, I teared up legit.
I didn't even cry in that.
I think the emotion here though is because Martin Mull is so good.
I don't know. I really don't know maybe, I don't know if I was overthinking it. And I'm kind of, not that I expected everyone to cry when they watched it or anything, but like, I'm surprised that scene didn't hit you guys like as strongly as it did for me. I think it was like, I don't know, I felt it was very impactful.
I will say this though, to your point, Jay, it hit me not to a point where I cried, but it hit me to the point where I was like, this show does not work if you don't have a great guest every week. Because Martin Mull is what makes that work, right? We're like, he's so fucking good. You feel for the scenario where like the woman, his wife, doesn't say a word. She's just looking off in the distance. That actor doesn't have to like convey any emotion. It's all from him talking, and you just feel it so fucking hard. So if you have anybody who's less than that any other episode, then you're always diminishing returns, you know?
And we've talked too about like with other shows, you just brought up Good Grief, and we're talking about like at what point and like how much does a character need to like do good to redeem like all the past, kind of sins. Don't get me wrong, Nell was pretty shitty most of this episode. I will say her being moved to a point of tears does like bump her a few points. You know what I mean?
She's not moved to tears. She's upset with herself because she fucked up again. She even says it.
But yeah,
she was a rotten person again.
Yeah, but that's being self-aware at least, and not putting it on someone else for a change. You know what I mean? She's taking ownership. And I would just say that, and this is actually a big difference too, like when we've covered a lot of like single cam versus multicams. You know what I mean? Like this doesn't work the same on multicam. This needs to be like, and I don't know if we brought it up, but this is a single cam show. It changes a lot of like what you can get away with emotionally at times. But yeah, she starts talking about she can't get out of her own way and all this stuff. And
again, this is just her being selfish. It's about her. It ain't about the wife.
Not necessarily. I don't think so, because he's responding with, it's okay because I was a mess too before I met Cricket. Cricket is his ex-wife's name or nickname or whatever. And he goes, God, I wish I could tell her once more how beautiful she is. And that's when I was like, okay. And then Nell gets up and, without Monty with her, walks over to Cricket's table and then just kind of like on his behalf, just to like make her feel good, be like, hey, excuse me, like, I hope this isn't very weird, but I just thought someone should tell you how beautiful you look tonight.
This is where I got a little teary-eyed.
And she was like, yeah, well, the whole scene, like, like it wasn't just that 1 second, but like the way that it all built. And like her being so like, like that, like it meant a lot to her. You know what I mean? Like that was like such a, like a random compliment, Again, if you're factoring the time frame of like Monty's obituary is being written. So she's been widowed for a couple days, like maybe tops. This might be her like getting out of the house for the first time. She goes out of her way to say, and I really love your necklace. And she says, my husband gave it to me. It's a little gaudy, but it makes me think of him. So like, even like Cricket understands, like Cricket doesn't even love the necklace. She knows it's a little much, but
he's wearing it for him. Yeah.
Because it's from him, it means a lot to her. Yeah. And Nell says like, hey, this is a little out of character for me, but would it be the strangest thing if I asked you to join me for a glass of wine?
Yes, get away from me.
Well, she says only if it's tequila, and they introduce each other. I think this is a sweet moment. I'm surprised.
I think it's very sweet. Yeah.
I think especially there, if like the first part didn't get you, like her walking up and just like complimenting Cricket and telling her like, I think you look very beautiful tonight, and seeing like what that meant for her. Like I thought that was a really good scene.
They should have ended it there. But I think the sitting with her and staying with her was much.
Well, I think like it's nice of a scene as that was. There's like more things we need to tie up, I guess, before we get out of this episode.
What if the ghosts saw each other though, and the other ghost she had was Paul Giamatti, and he was like, "We're not drinking Merlot." It's a very specific sideways joke.
So now we cut to the next day, and Nell's sitting at her desk in her room, and her roommate knocks on the door. And when he walks in, he's like, "Hey, I got more poop bags for Arthur's business." I didn't mention this earlier, but Nell's in charge of walking his dog for some reason. It's part of the agreement of her living there. So she's like, "Oh, thanks. Anything else?" He's like, "Technically, it's not called Asperger's anymore." He's like calling back to the last time they had that conversation. He said it's called autism spectrum disorder. It means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But for me, it means I need structure and routine. And there's a right way to do things, and there's a wrong way to do things. And there's not a lot of in between. Like the poop bags? He's like, kind of, but I'm an environmental lawyer, so that's just being responsible, which makes sense about the whole yogurt thing earlier, too. He's like, the world's on fire right now. I thought this was smart to cast someone like Rick Glassman in this role, too, because he's probably there to like, hey, are we explaining this right? You know what I mean? Like a dialogue like this where you want the actor to be autistic,
but also funny.
Yeah, is he going to explain this properly, like, and make it make sense?
Imagine if this was written in like the 90s, though, and they went full Rain Man with it.
Yeah, that's how it would have been.
Definitely yogurt. Like, okay, we can't watch this show anymore. Yeah. You fucking fart, Nell? Did you fucking fart, Nell? Nobody wants to watch that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I don't mind.
But they do a lot of, like, this scene, too, is another good scene where Edward can be tough, too, right? Obviously, like, with all the little signs and everything, and not just through autism, but the fact that he has autism doesn't, like, give him, like, this, like, automatic pass for, like, everything he does. But the fact that he could talk about it now and be like, hey, listen, I know I can be difficult, and this is why I'm difficult, because this is, like, how my brain's working. At least, like, he's self-aware too, you know what I mean? And it helps. And he's like, and you can tell because he's like, I know I'm not the easiest to live with at times, which I would imagine would be like, he's probably ran through a few roommates and probably like has a hard time connecting with people. So now she's like, well, you know, I've been told the same, so maybe we're a good match.
It was nice to see them kind of mend a little bit.
To bond and like, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, we're getting some nice tie-ins here at least, and we're kind of creating this foundation for her. We turn to her like at the laptop now, and we're getting like narration as she's typing. Like while she's typing out this like long thing, I don't know if this is supposed to be the obituary because it's a little too much of like talking about like life and new friendships and all this stuff. So I don't know if this is just her journal because it doesn't seem like a fitting. Like if you were to read like an obituary from a loved one and it starts talking about like, you know, she was a working mom. He was the yummy yum bubblegum guy. So
I kind of love that though. Like I love the whole like story aspect of it, right? Versus just being like, you read an obituary, it's like they leave behind and it's like just a page of people's family.
Sure. It's
right?
like, it kind of makes me like question the premise of the show though. Cause like every obituary is so copy paste.
Right.
Yeah.
Is this her writing the book that the show's based on? Like the fact that she's an author? You know what I mean? Like, is that what this is supposed to be? Like, this isn't her writing the obituary necessarily.
No,
but
this is the
writing.
obituary. She hands it to the editor after, and it.
Well, later he starts reading that part after, like when it gets to it. But like as she's writing this stuff, I thought not enough of it was about just him. It was like about other people, like specifically mentioning characteristics of the other characters that we've met in this show.
I can see this character writing a book later and like incorporating their obituaries into it, right? Like it's their writing.
And there is a couple stuff that, by the way, that like while this whole scene's happening, like we're getting clips of all the other characters, right? So we're cutting to Lexi and we're seeing Lexi arguing on the phone with her father and giving like another layer to her character and realizing that relationship's, you know, a little salty. And we see Sam who's being gifted flowers in her breast pump, like using the breast pump as a vase, and it says "I'm sorry" on it. There's a nice little callback too, where like Sam picks up the breast pump and does like burr, 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 like kind of like her past self when they were tight. You know what I mean?
You think she stole those flowers from the break room too?
Probably, yeah.
From her graveyard, from Monty's grave.
And took bites out of them. Yeah,
Bites in the flowers.
These don't taste like they taste like cherry. She spits them back out. They're cherry plants.
And then it also starts talking about like, and sometimes if we're lucky, like, you know, we make new friendships and like, you know, things that take us by surprise. We see Nell, who's now like, she's standing in line for that 80s prom night that she invited Sam to earlier in the episode. And she's alone until up walks Cricket. And you see Cricket all dressed up and like, it was like a really nice, like they're going to be friends now.
And Nell's dressed as like Material Girl era Madonna too. She's wearing like the 80s full on, like the gloves, the puffy skirt.
The thing is though, when Cricket gets the newspaper with her husband's obituary and then she sees the author, she's gonna be like, what's she gonna think?
She could lay that out as, I thought about that. There could be a moment where she goes, oh, that was your husband? No, I'm actually writing his obituary. Like, you can bring that up. You don't. I wouldn't bring up, and I can see him. Like, but she could bring up the normal part, yeah, of like, oh, I was assigned to write his obituary, actually. But I like the moment of like, this woman just lost her husband and now she gets like a new friend, at least in the wake of that. And you see the two of them going out. Like that's nice. That shows growth too, because it's like that relationship with Sam's not going to be the same, or shouldn't be the same as it was before she left. Cause like Sam's life's changed. She's had kids. She's friends with other people too now. But now Nell's also evolving. So it's not going to be this resentment like your life changed, but mine didn't. So your life should mirror what mine was before I left.
Do we know, is Cricket a reoccurring character from this point on? Or is this just a nice moment for the end of this episode?
Cricket is a reoccurring character.
Okay.
We get that nice little scene, and then it cuts to flash forward. Dennis, the friend boss, who's in Nell's little closet office, and he's like reading over like the end of the obituary. And Monty happens to be in the office as well, but obviously Dennis doesn't see that.
Yeah, Monty's doing like the fun thing where he's like sitting behind her, like not in a chair. He's like, I think he's on like a file cabinet, just like, kind of like relaxing. And you feel like, is he going to be there forever by that like situation he's in?
I would just stand behind other people and try to make her laugh, like do like the wavy hands and stuff.
Every time he's talking to anybody. Mr. Johns, I think I deserve a raise. Just ruin your life forever.
Joe, I'm not even going to tell you what he did this time, but I'll just say for the 100th time, Joe forgot that this is an audio show and went with the physical comedy gag again. Yeah, no, Dennis finishes reading it and he really likes it. Basically tells Nell in so many words, like, I'm not going to tell you how much I like it because I don't want it to go to your head, but I am going to run and get this over so I can upload it to publication. And runs over, and after he leaves, Nell is saying to Monty, like, don't let all those nice words get to your head, old man, just trying to keep this job. And then she looks over and Monty's vanished. So, like, I don't know if finishing the obituary, like getting it turned in, like once it's publicized, is that once their job is done or whatever?
I think so, yeah. Once it's published, as long as it's like
approved.
Approved and like.
I don't like that because I think it should have been that he found that his wife was taken care of and has a friend now. So that was his unfinished business, looking out for her, and that let him move on. But
there needs to be like, I don't know. Is everyone going to have unfinished business, or is it supposed to be her learning the tales behind these people? That's like more than what people realize. Like that's like kind of the whole digging deeper to. He was more than just the yummy yum bubblegum guy. He was a guy who was an accomplished musician who wanted to do all these things. And so I think it's also about like that, like giving them the proper send off is kind of what her task is.
Their place in history.
Also, we to believe that one person is dying a day in this show?
Well, that gets assigned to her. Like she, for some reason,
she's the only one. She's got an office and she's that whole department. There should be like 20 ghosts in that room.
I am with Fergus this one. She's the only person in.
Hey, the newspaper. Yeah. Here's this one obituary. You have 3 days to write it. It's like, I don't think it works that way.
They'll become undead if you don't write the obituary within 3 days. You've got 72 hours.
The second paragraph is the part with the services, right? Yeah, like this has to be done by Wednesday. So he disappears. Dennis pops his head back and he's like, oh, by the way, just remembered I emailed you your next assignment. A woman who ran a successful dim sum restaurant in Chinatown. Like on it, as soon as he leaves, you just have like the older like woman going, I'm going to be honest with you because I'm dead. Your natural deodorant doesn't work. And why aren't you married? Time's ticking.
I was torn on this ending where I was like, do we need to see the next person each episode? Or does it work enough to know that it brings you to watching the next one to see, where there will be another person? And I think
it's more for us to know that that's how this works. That like her assignments are going to dictate who she sees.
Okay, sure. I would say I feel like this works for a pilot, but I don't want that every episode, right?
I wouldn't think so. And I would even guess, I'm not sure. I wouldn't even think that this is going to be the star of the second episode.
But I still have so many questions. Is this something that happens to all obituary writers?
Yeah. Yeah, like what granted her this? Like, I don't get.
So why can she see ghosts? It's never explained.
Okay, I will say this. I don't think there are people who are clamoring to be obit writers, so why don't we all apply? Like, all 5 of us apply to be an obit writer in wherever we live and see if anybody gets the job. and then we can report back and be like, nope, I'm just writing about a nice old lady, or I'm being haunted, I can't do the podcast anymore. It would be interesting, and it's real life experience.
I don't want to be haunted.
I don't want to be haunted either.
Greg, didn't you want to be a writer? All right, you're going to be our local obituary guy.
There you go.
But yeah, with all that being said, not much else to talk about in regards to this episode and the show. It only went to 2 seasons, like I said. I don't have a lot of other information on it, so nothing left really other than get into the greenlight or cancel. So Gordo's not here. Keep in mind that we will add his score to any social media posts that will up on S1E1 Pod on any of our platforms. If you want to follow us on X or Instagram or anything like that, you can see it there. Yeah, to go around the circle, Joe, I'll start with you.
It's a green light based on the pilot alone, which is, our criteria. And it's also based on just Martin Mull and what the show can be. I'm saying this is not seeing any other episodes. We talked about it a few different times, if you have a good guest star every week, I think it elevates the show into making you want to see it and see that story play out. I think it's an insanely unlikable main character, which makes it very hard, which I feel like puts it on a weird scale, right? Where you're like, we mentioned earlier, if the guest star isn't good and the main character isn't likable, then it's clearly a fail. But if we're going strictly on pilot alone, Martin Mull's amazing, and he makes us ride out as a fun episode you want to see more of, even though he's not going to be there. And Jay, I feel like, to your point, I don't think the dim sum woman is going to be episode 2, but I also do like the idea of a red herring thing where like she does 1 million of these a week, so maybe we throw a random person at the end of her episode, and that's not who you get. But because just pilot only, I'll say green light, but it's a little bit of a shaky because I don't know where we're going.
Nick,
this was a tough one. Really don't like the main character, not like the actor. I don't mind her. I just the character itself I hate. I liked the synopsis. I liked the story, but none of the synopsis or the story is very original at all, which we kind of discussed. I liked the way the ending was nice. Like it was a feel good show. I don't know how else to explain it besides feel good. It was just like it kind of had like that nice little bow at the end. You're like, oh, sweet. Ultimately, though, I think I'm going to cancel it because there's just too much that kind of annoys me about it. Like they don't explain certain things, like why she can see these people. They do a terrible job of the main point of the show is that she can see and talk to dead people. And then everything else below that layer is like very poorly put together, I think. I think the underlying story of her, she moved away, she came back, she has a friend, she has this job. Like, it's just so, like, it's just really boring. Like I said, it's tough because, like, I did enjoy the outcome of the show. It was good. I'm not clamoring to see a second episode per se, though, I don't think. Would I watch this in my own time? And maybe I would check it out. But for like the purposes of this greenlight or cancel, I don't think there's enough there to greenlight it. I just think it's a little too hollow. So yeah, I'm going to cancel.
Berg.
I struggled a bit with this one as well. This was a show that was on. I'd leave it on, like flipping through channels. But I spent the entire pilot hating the main character. And I usually will cancel a show if I can't get behind the main character. And she is selfish throughout the whole. Now, I'm not sure if this redemption at the end changed her character for the future. Or was this just like a one-time thing? Is she going to be terrible tomorrow on the new episode? I don't know. I would have liked a little bit more, like Nick said, an explanation why she can see ghosts. Have her the elevator crash down or something. Have her hit her head. Anything. But no, she just sees ghosts because she's an obituary writer. And it's just like poor writing. I'm on the fence because I like the rest of the cast. It really was an all-star cast. So I'm going to break my own rule and give this the green light despite me hating her in this episode. I have a feeling that she's redeemed throughout the rest. And at the very least, I need to see if she is in the next episode. So green light.
Yeah, so Berg, I'm going to mirror some of that in that, yes, I think they did a really bad job with her character this episode in that, like the donut thing, all these things where like she's just being shitty, but you can tell there's something about her, like there's a likableness to the actual person portraying her. I think that shines through that you feel like, okay, they want her to be better and she seems like a like the person to do it. And then a lot of the supporting cast, like I said, just the connections that she has with her existing friends, with her roommate towards the end. Yeah, it sucks that like my favorite person in this episode is not meant to be in like the next episode. That kind of sucks. So there's a tricky line there with who they're going to bring in to like fill those gaps. But if the writing can stay consistent and with that kind of stuff and like give you people that you can be engaged with and like, then that can work. And like I said, this is the first show we've covered that like really hit me emotionally with that one scene with Cricket in the restaurant. So I guess I have to give them credit for that. With that in mind, I got to give that a green light as well. But yeah, there are things they could work on. Looks like regardless of Gordo's score, we still have 3 out of 4. So congratulations to Not Dead Yet. You do get the green light from us. I want to thank all you guys for listening. And this is, again, week 3 out of 5 this year for Spooky Dookie 5. There are 5 Thursdays, so stay tuned. We got 2 more weeks ahead. And then, again, go to S1E1pod.com. That's where you can find all the links where you can find us, rate, review, subscribe, do all that stuff. Buy a t-shirt if you will. But until then, I want to thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you again next week with another new episode. But until then, thank you. Goodbye.
I think we have the best Alfred Leroy Smith.